Hello friends, so this is the video editorial for today's Leetcode problem of the day 2483, which is a medium problem, which is that there is a shop and the shop is open for n hours. For each hours, you know that whether there is a customer or not. So Y means here that there is a customer and N means that there is no customer. Now you have to close the shop, and if you close the shop at jth hour, then for every hour after it, if there is a customer coming, then your penalty would be increased by one. And if for every hour before it, if there was no customer, then there is a penalty on you. So what I mean, what this question means is like here, this is the customer strings that we know, right? And let's say if we close our shop at this first hour, so like at 0th hour, there is a customer. At first hour, there is a customer. At second, there is a customer. At third hour, there is, sorry, at second hour, there is no customer. And at third hour, there is a customer, right? So if we close the shop at this hour, then for every hour before it, that there was no customer, but the shop was open. Because see, if we close the hour, we close the shop at jth hour, then every hour before it, the shop was open, or rather, every hour before from 0 to j minus 1. Because at jth, you are closing the shop. So from 0 to j minus 1, our shop is open. And from j to n, our shop is closed. Right? Now, for every hour that the shop was open and there was no customer. So our customer was n, or a customer string was n, and you will have a penalty. And for every hour that the shop was closed and customer came, so this is that customer is y, then you will also get a penalty. So can I say that for j, if we are closing the shop at j, our total penalty would be number of prefix of n. So number of n's that are in the prefix plus number of suffix of y. This makes sense, right? So this would be a penalty at j. So we can say this is as penalty j. Now, so if I know my penalty at j, what would be a penalty at j minus 1? It would be same prefix n plus suffix y, but our prefix n and suffix y's values will change based on customer j. So let's say if a customer j was something like a y. If it was y, then our suffix y would get minus minus, because now earlier what was happening was that at this j jth hour our shop was closed and a customer was coming, so we were incurring a penalty. Now we have said that okay, we'll close at j plus 1. So now this y is not at the suffix. Our shop is open when this customer comes. So our suffix y would get minus minus, right? Suffix y minus minus if customer j was y. If it was n, what would happen? Okay. Our suffix y would remain same. There is no change. Our prefix n would get increased, right? Because see, earlier what was happening was this n was not in the prefix of it, but now at j plus 1, it is at the prefix, right? So if it is n, then our prefix n would become plus plus. So how can we implement it? Let's just keep two variables, a suffix y and a suffix n, and let's just do j from 0 to n and calculate the minimum of the sum of these two values. Let me show you the code of it. I'm going a bit faster, but yeah, this is a quite easy problem. Okay, so we'll create one. Okay, so what we actually need for this question is not the minimum answer, like not the minimum penalty, but at which hour should we close to get the minimum penalty. So we want to find the first hour that gives us minimum penalty. Minimum penalty. Now, how can we do that? For each index, we are calculating the penalty, right? So for j equals to 0, we get the penalty. For j equals to 1, we get the penalty, so on. So let us find the first time that we got the minimum answer, and let's just return this j. So how can we do that? Let me show you the code. So So I initialize my answer. This is the penalty, the minimum penalty we have gotten so far. Initialize this to into maximum. Minimum is the minimum index that we can get, right? And n is your customer dot size, that is fine. So initialize, so initially we will close at 0th hour. So if we are closing at 0th hour, suffix y would be all the y's in the array, right? Because all the y's are currently in the suffix of it, and the prefix n would be 0 because there is no prefix. So when we are closing at j, then our suffix is starting from j and our prefix is starting before j, right? It is 0 to j minus 1 is our prefix and j to n is our suffix, right? Because we are closing at j, so at j also our shop is closed. So yeah, initially, so our suffix y initially would be the total frequency of y, which we can get from here. Now, as I said, we will test closing our shop from 0 to n. And the current answer would be suffix y plus prefix n. If this current answer is less than answer, then we'll store that answer equals to current answer, which makes sense. But now this is the minimum penalty that we can get, and this would also be the minimum index, right? Because if let's say we were getting 5, now we are getting 3, so the 3th index should be the minimum index that gives us this answer, right? So this would also handle like if two indexes gives you the minimum answer, then it would be that current answer is greater than equals to, is less than equals to, not explicitly less than. So it won't go in this if block. This makes sense. Now, as I said, if customer j is y, we just need to do suffix y minus minus. And if customer j is n, we'll just need to do prefix n plus plus. And finally, we can return the minimum answer. So this works. The time complexity we can see is just we are doing traversal of this customer array twice, and we are not creating any space. So time complexity is often, and space complexity is often. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you were able to understand anything and you like the video, give me a like and subscribe. All of those things. Bye.